So I'm going to just do a quick rant before I read you the poem, but behind this poem, something that I tend to do that I guess is not very Zen-like is when I am paused in the present, I have a tendency to look into my past for lessons, a lot of which come from basic meanings to childhood games we would play and different experiences during my youth. And I was paused on a concept in a love story for this poem, not not a love story in terms of a knight in shining armor, but kind of the struggle within a love story. And when I paused on that feeling, it took me back to a toy store near my house and my parents buying me gifts on layaway. And as as disconnected as that sounds, when I first started thinking of the toy store, and I literally could picture it, it was called the Red Balloon on Bird Road, and we would go there, and it was, during a time during youth where a trip to a toy store was as good as getting the toy. I mean, I remember that would be it felt like a day, at Disney for me to walk around the toy store. And I still cherish that the simplicity of that was part of my upbringing. But I remember how special it was when I would see something that I really wanted and my parents would put it away on layaway. They didn't have at that time, the means to pay for it all at once. So they'd keep it in the store. They'd make little payment plans as they could, and then one day they'd bring it home. And that concept of sacrificing, of waiting, of delaying gratification is so important to us as human beings, and it's something that um, although my kids always rag on me for saying, "Oh, your generation," but it is something that in this generation I really hope we can keep as a value, with all the technology and all the things that come to us within a millisecond. I believe to our core as human beings that the importance of sacrifice and delaying our urges is really an important, beautiful concept. And I found it interesting that when I was paused in this struggle within the love story that I was going to write, that it took me to that layaway plan. And so that's just a little of the sloppy footsteps of how I got to the words that I then flooded into a poem. But I just thought I would share it with you. Now would be a great time to close your eyes and let me read to you the poem that evolved. I wonder when the lights went out, when the bills to my needs stopped being paid, when the water to my thirst no longer ran in hot. I wonder why I never stood in line to pay the minimum of what we needed, why I couldn't clear my throat enough to ask God for a payment plan. Instead, I sit with the power out, holding in my hand a toy from my childhood that was paid for on layaway. I shake my head, never realizing what effort it took my parents to want something from me so badly that they sacrificed over time. Why didn't we take the time? We could have paid for our love on layaway. Instead, here I am, shopping the toy store we call life, looking for something new and improved, while still holding in my mind a G.I. Joe in a box, knowing I can place him in my hand and make him go to battle for me. Why didn't you go to battle for me?